Hey guys, we are back at Starlight Drive-In, and today we're going to be finishing the operator marketplace that we started in the last video. Now this turned out really cool, and I'm really excited to share what I was able to do here. As you can see, there's some pretty interesting looking structures that I was able to put together, and yeah, I did skip over a fair amount of the build process in this one, just trying to keep the video short. I didn't want to keep you guys here forever. So with that said, let's get started. Now first thing, we're going to go ahead and place this guard tower down. It's from Thematic and Practical, and it's one of the nicer ones built out of this truck. Kind of fits the theme that we've been using here at Starlight. And it's going to serve as one of the back walls for a little courtyard we're going to make, for the raiders here and the workers. Just a little place where they can relax. So now we're going to close off the gap on the other side of that guard tower there. We're going to use one of these corner pieces in the junk fence tab and the pillar and the rug to kind of just close off that gap. You can see right there, you could just climb right through and be right into the courtyard. Just a matter of lining things up, keeping them from clipping through too much, and just getting the height right. I'm not too tall. There we go. Nice. Looks pretty good. And once again, using the pillar, this time with one of the cars there from Thematic and Practical. And we're just going to use this and place it down as a vendor stall. So I figured the vendor can sit inside the car and have his wares laid out on the ground in front. Plus it can be used to block off access to the courtyard there, so there's just one entrance. And we'll just throw some railings here on this platform and should be good to go. So you can see there's a pretty large gap in between those two structures there. So we're going to go ahead and take one of these large trucks and actually turn it into a guard tower. Just a matter of using the pillar to get at the right height. Looks pretty good. So we're going to use one of these vanilla guard stations as a platform for the guard to stand on. Just a matter of getting it the right height so it looks like it's sitting on top of the hood. And, getting it on there so it's straight. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Oh, looks like I failed a mission to protect Starlight. Well, we're going to need a walkway for the guard to actually get to the top of that tower. So we're going to go ahead and use a pillar and a few of these boards here and get that into place. Now we just have to get it the right height so it looks like, again, that it's sitting on top of the truck, and keep it so that it doesn't clip through too much. And I think that, the height of the roof compared to where the hood is will actually just work as a step, so we're not actually going to need to build any stairs or anything for this side of it at least. Yeah, looks pretty good. Now it's just a matter of getting another platform on the truck so that we have somewhere to put the stairs to walk down to. And this flat part of the truck back here should work perfectly without too much trouble. Just got to get it close enough so that the vanilla stairs will actually just clip to it, so we don't have to, jerry rig anything else. Just a matter of getting it close. I think we got it. Let's go ahead and put a stair on there and see what happens. Oh, perfect. Now that the guard tower is complete, we're going to take one of these prefab shacks and place it in front of the tower. It'll close off the entryway there to where the tower is and the housing units are, and kind of just fill out that area a little bit. Just using the pillar here so I can get it as close to the arena as possible, as well as sink it down so you can't see the wood floor. I just think it looks better with the bare concrete. And just gotta wait till it gets green. Perfect. It's not clipping. Nice. So here we are on the opposite side of the marketplace, and we're gonna build a little stall using one of these I guess that's a bus stop from Homemaker, and just going to sink it down just a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and close off the front of it. Just line it up so it's a little straighter. Nice. Looks good. Now instead of glitching a doorway to the front of this thing, we're actually just going to make it a little bit more makeshift than that by just plugging up about half of the opening using some half walls and some window boards there just to cover up some of the gaps. I think it'll look a little bit more, junky and thrown together, and I don't know, just kind of fit the aesthetic of the settlement a little bit. So you can see here, that actually comes from a mod that gives you boards to plug up doorways and windows. And the reason I use those, it has a really nice collision. So it just kind of sinks into objects, which is really cool. And then this board here is for doorways, and we're just going to slap it on there to make that wall a little taller. Nice. Now for this last structure, we're going to go ahead and use one of the vans from Thematic and Practical, and we're just going to glitch a ladder into it so that the settlers have a way to, get to the platform we're going to put on top. It looks pretty good. Nice. Well, with the ladder in place, it's time to put the platform together. Now, I realize that you can't actually use the ladders, but I didn't want to put a staircase sticking off the side of this thing, and I figured it looks pretty good having the ladder on there, and they can just climb into the van and then climb up the ladder. I think that fits a little bit better. Plus, it's probably pretty easy to salvage a ladder. There we go, nice and close. Now to just finish off the shack, I figure on either side we're going to go ahead and use these shack walls that have the roofs attached, and just going to use the pillar to get it nice and close. This one here is going to get sunk in, and the other one's actually going to end up being a stall. So this side's just going to be storage, so it's okay if the bare concrete is showing. Just a matter of getting it really close. That's pretty good. Alright, well, with both sides of the shack built, we just need one of these half walls to close off this gap here, create a little more privacy, and just a matter of using select all to get it really close to the van and close up that gap. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Now, instead of putting a doorway on the shack, I figured we'd just use one of the curtains that come with Creative Clutter. And, with the curtain there, you can slide it to close off the wall or leave it open so you can enter in pretty easily. And I just figured it would look a lot better than having a door kind of jerry-rigged in there. And the nice thing is the Creative Clutter comes with a lot of cool stuff, and those kind of just snap to the ceiling. And you just gotta line it up correctly, and there you go. Looks really nice. Time for the tour. Here we are back at the entryway to the marketplace. We're going to go ahead and walk past the chem dealer here and go to the back courtyard that we created earlier. I really like how narrow the passageways are. It kind of makes it feel a little more cramped. I like it. There's the guard on duty with that guard tower there. And utilize the space underneath the guard tower for a little bit of storage. Looks like some beer and a cooler underneath there. Of course, you have some seating to relax and a little cook station. And looks like they killed a mutant hound there. Don't know how good that would taste, but it is the apocalypse. I really like the support of the platform there with the sandbags. I don't know. I'm a really big fan of using those sandbags. Here we go. Scavenger home here. Looks like we have some tools and chems. This guy was able to get a microscope working. That's interesting. And of course, Thematic and Practical bed. That's a really great mod. I highly recommend you guys download that. And of course, a little bit of explosives and some beer. So here we are at the first new vendor. Looks like he's a forced laborer that we have employed here at this settlement. Looks like he's selling just different salvage laying about. Have a circuit board there and some office supplies, and of course some plants and a few knickknacks. Now across from here we have our butcher. Looks like he has a rad stag hanging on that beam there. A little bit of leather tanning out next to it. And inside we have all of the meats and a little butcher station. Looks like there's some human remains there. Now, if you recall, there are some cannibals living in this settlement. Looks like we have some prepared leather hanging about. And it wouldn't be a Raider Butcher without some human meat hanging there. Walking out, you have a nice view of the bar there. Now let's take a look at this housing unit that we have tucked back here. Of course, you know, there's a bench from Thematic and Practical, and barrels and crates. Those are really good for just kind of filling out areas and making them look a little busy. It's pretty nice. Here we have another scavenger. Looks like he has some toys and different chems and components laid about. Of course, the operator colors there, as we are on the operator side of town. And coming around here, we can take a look at that guard tower we built earlier. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. It looks really cool. Here we have a little relaxation area for the guard when he's not on duty. Got a couple meals laid out, of course some chems. You know how the Raiders like their chems. And this walkway worked out really well. You can see you just walk right up, and you step right down onto the platform. You got a great view, seeing anything coming across that field there. Let's take a look at the tower from the other side. That looks really cool. I like how the truck just pokes out. Of course, you have the sandbags there for some support. It just looks cool. So here we go, heading to the other side of the marketplace. And the first vendor we come across is the weapons dealer. You can see here he's repurposed one of those long trailers and then fortified it up a little bit with the chain link fence. Of course, he has his ammo and whatnot laid about on the counter. Figure the weapons dealer is probably the most secure of the vendors here, but just to add a little extra security, you have the chain link fence and of course a dog there in the corner. You have the door over on this side. Let's take a look and see what we have. Got some explosive crates. Of course, there's a Nuka-Cola laying around. You know, they are from Nuka World after all, and I'm sure they've developed quite the addiction. Now coming around this way, on the trailer here, I have a door that comes from the Homemaker mod. It's pretty cool. Definitely recommend downloading that. Just adds a little bit more immersion. Now I didn't put a ramp leading in. The trailer kind of has those built-in ladders, so I figured it was kind of redundant. Of course, he has some stock for the shop and some personal alcohol there. And here we have one of those mini workbenches, like with the armor dealer, only, you know, this one's for weapons. Those things work really well. I believe that comes from Creative Clutter. I'll go ahead and link all my mods in the description. Now the sleeping area here is a little bare, and I will have to add some more clutter before the final tour. And here we approach the more sinister side of the marketplace. This is where we have our forced laborers stored for processing. You can see here we have a guard on duty, and of course there's a laborer there in the back not having such a good time. More raider cages laying about. And here we have our vendor. Now she would stand there and call forth I guess specimens to come out and stand on this platform. Our purchaser would sit here on the couch and examine the goods, see whether or not they want to buy them. Of course, we have different refreshments laying about, a little bit of storage there in the corner. And that brings us to this first stall. Now, the two stalls on this side of the marketplace actually turned into kind of a mini brothel. And so over here we have looks like somebody waiting for a client. Of course, there's some buff out and various refreshments laying about. Now, I was able to use the pillar to get that animation mat actually sitting on top of the bed, or kind of into the bed. You can see the mat there a little bit, but I think it still looks fine. Now here's the last shack that we built, and this side is literally just for storage. You can see there's just various clutter mixed in here, and a barrel of beer, and some explosives and weapons, components ready for, processing there. And we come around here and you can see this is that van from earlier, and you can see the ladder through there. I figure they just climb on in and climb up the ladder to the top platform. In here is the other brothel stall. You can see there's a bed and various entertainment things there on the table. Of course, someone else waiting for a client. And more chems and alcohol on the table there. Now, because there's no stairs, I'm going to have to jump up to the platform to show you the decoration up there. Of course, there's a guard. This is probably the more secure areas, other than maybe the weapons dealer. Here we have a little relaxation area for the guard. A couple of chairs and some alcohol laid about. And looks like this guy is pretty well armed. And of course, some recreational jet. Nuka-Cola Quantum for when his AP runs low. Now if you look down here, I added a couple of wooden pillars for support. And there's a better view of the ladder. Now this build turned out a lot different than I thought it was going to. But it looks really good. I rarely know what exactly I'm going to build when I start building. Very rarely do I actually have a plan. But it did turn out pretty good. Well, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. Leave a comment if I glossed over something you want to know more about, or if you have any ideas on how I can improve things. I look forward to reading all of your comments and seeing you guys in the next video. And until then, enjoy your time in the Commonwealth.